over. And life is like a song. Oh yeah, yeah. At last, the skies above the blue. My heart was wrapped up in clover. The night I looked at you, I found a dream that I could speak to, a dream that I can call my own. I found a thrill to press my cheek to, a thrill that I have never known. Oh yeah, you smile, you smile. Oh, and then the spell was cast. Here we are in heaven, for you are mine at last.
Chris on the phone. This is not happening.
Try that anywhere. That was great.
Ready to do this?
It'll be in a second.
Come with me, my love, to the sea of love. I want to tell you how much I love you. Do you remember when we met? That day I knew you were my head. I want to tell you how much I love you. Come with me, my love, to the sea of
Good afternoon, and thank you for your patience, and welcome to the marriage celebration of Jane McGillum and Bryce Morgan. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Caitlin, and I'm a friend of the couple. Jane and Bryce have invited you all to witness their marriage ceremony today because each of you is a part of Jane and Bryce's story. If you're here either virtually or in this lovely backyard, it means you have shaped Bryce and Jane in some way. You were part of the foundation of this lifelong partnership. This past year has highlighted how vital it is to hold on to these moments of joy when you can get them because they can be so fleeting. And even though this was not Bryce and Jane's plan A, or B, or even C, I hope that wherever you are, you can take a moment to be present and feel all the feelings as we celebrate Bryce and Jane. And even though the plague has prevented all of us from being physically together, they want you to know that every single person's love, support, and joy is felt here today. Thank you for being part of their lives, and thank you for joining today to witness their marriage celebration. I've known Brain for their whole relationship, but I knew the bruh part of Brain first. Bryce moved to Seattle and was adopted pretty much overnight into the Seattle friend group that's here today. He won everyone over because, well, Scout, but also because of his wicked sense of humor and openness to try anything. My then boyfriend and now husband and I would always say that Bryce is always down. And he's not just down for spontaneous drinks on a Tuesday. Bryce is always down to help out with a move, or pick up a package when you're out of town, or dog sit so you can climb a volcano. One time, Bryce slept on a tarp on the ground at a music festival, totally exposed, because a friend forgot their tent poles and he sacrificed his own tent so they could have a good time. He would never admit it, and I'm sure he's cringing at all this attention, but Bryce is one of the most reliable friends I've ever had. When Bryce says he's gonna happen, and as I get older, I realize how precious that is to have in a friend.
Thank you.
So when Bryce introduced us to Jane, I was delighted to find that Jane was also always down. Well, Jane is down as long as she's not going to be cold, which she sets a clear boundary, and I respect that. Jane won me over immediately with her brash silliness. She's just like shamelessly goofy. And I loved that she was willing to laugh at herself. I read once that people from the middle of the country, like us, like to tease other people. It's how we show affection. But that doesn't always land that way, especially in Seattle. So one of the first moments I knew this relationship was going to go places was when Bryce teased Jane for her driving, which is usually a sensitive subject, but she just laughed and teased him right back. It takes a lot of confidence to laugh at yourself, and I could feel in Jane that this came from a place of emotional intelligence. She's relentlessly curious about other people, and it makes her a great listener and a great friend. I became so smitten with Jane that on Halloween of 2016, when they both dressed up as Ken Bone, the guy in the red sweater from the election town hall, I pulled Bryce aside and I told him that if they ever broke up, I'd choose Jane. Lucky for me, I don't have to make this choice because Bryce and Jane complement each other so well. Sometimes in an opposites attract kind of way. Bryce loves to put on sunglasses and people watch, whereas Jane is gregarious and will make everyone play the game of conversation. Bryce is cool taking it one day at a time, whereas Jane lives on calendars and detailed spreadsheets. Similarly, Jane is very forthcoming with her thoughts and feelings. And Bryce, I'm pretty sure you could go to the grave unsure of whether Bryce ever really liked you. Bryce is the master of dry, deadpan humor, whereas Jane delights in puns and Gumby leg dances. They're like a great comedy duo, like Lucy and Ethel, or David Spade and Chris Farley. You're Chris Farley in my comparison. But
It's because I'm bald.
But I think this is what makes their relationship so special. They are not carbon copies of each other. They challenge each other to think in a different way. They can hold opposite points of view and recognize that's a strength. They enjoy, or at least tolerate, the weirdest parts about each other because that's what makes them them. And the differences don't matter because what they have in common is the most important stuff. Shared values, generous hearts, and perhaps most important, a deep, enduring devotion to Scout. Now, this past year has been hard on everyone, but I would really not recommend planning a wedding in the middle of a pandemic. 0 stars, do not recommend. Planning a wedding is hard on a relationship in normal times, much less COVID times. And I know it's been a really bumpy year as Bryce and Jane planned and scrapped numerous scenarios, all in the hopes of being with their parents, siblings, and loved ones on the big day. I know it's been so difficult, but I must say it's given me insight into how they showed up for each other through it all. They let themselves really feel the disappointments and the anxieties so that they can eventually accept it and make the most of it. You have walked through fire together, and I think you'll find your relationship is so much stronger on the other side. Bryce and Jane, I'm so excited to see you take the next step in your journey. It means more than you know that you've let me be part of your story. Some couples become insular when things get serious, but you have opened up and let all these people share in your wonderful partnership. Everyone here today loves you so much, and I hope that you continue to lean on us. We're here for you through the good and the bad. I hope that every day you take a moment to appreciate what a special thing you found in each other. And my deepest hope for you two is that you never stop making each other laugh. It doesn't fix everything, but it goes pretty far, and it can make the worst days a little more bearable. I'm so happy for you both. Now let's get to the good stuff. By making this commitment today, Jane and Bryce every day. They're agreeing to work towards being the best versions of themselves, to share life's greatest joys and challenges with each other, and to be present with each other in all the moments in between. They are not promising to be perfect, because that would be a promise they can't keep, but they can promise to listen, learn, and act with humility when mistakes are inevitably made. They can promise to choose each other every day. Do you, Bryce Allen Morgan, take Jane Gallagher McGillum to be your wife, offering your love and encouragement, your trust and respect as you create your future together? Do you promise to care for her in times of sickness and in times of health? Do you promise to build a home with Jane that is full of laughter, growth, and love? Do you promise to be a companion to Jane in all of her successes and failures, her happiness and sadness? And do you promise, above all else, to give her the freedom to be herself?
I do.
Do you, Jane Gallagher McGillum, take Bryce Allen Morgan to be your husband, offering him your love and encouragement, your trust and respect as you create your future together? Do you promise to care for him in times of sickness and in times of health? Do you promise to build a home with Bryce that is full of laughter, growth, and love? Do you promise to be a companion to Bryce in all of his successes and failures, his happiness and sadness? And do you promise, above all else, to give him the freedom to be himself?
I do.
Then please turn to each other and share the vows you have written. You first.
This is a perfect example of everything that we have gone through. And I was planning on writing these down off of my phone into this book throughout this whole process of building this thing. And because I didn't write it down, I'm going to get emotional. So I'm just going to go off the cuff and say that I'm an immovable object, as has been noted. You are an unstoppable force. With your game of conversation and just helping me throughout the last couple of years. Before I knew you, right after I met you, the Pats lost the Super Bowl. Trump became president. The world went crazy. And then a pandemic happened right before we started to plan a wedding. The first trip we ever took was a snowstorm where we got snowed in for 3 days. So it's the perfect example of why I love you so much, is because we take care of each other when there is a storm. And I will screaming and yelling in there that I am always calm in a storm, and you've calmed me down. because we are battling the storms together. I love you. Beat that.
Well, you'll find that storm is actually pre-planned and written
wow.
in my mouth as well.
No way.
I forgot to grab tissues too. Thank you.
There is a handkerchief on my desk, like folded, ready to roll. I was like, boom.
Oh,
Nope.
man. Bryce, I fell in love with you quickly, but I may have fallen in love with Scout first. And the first time that you told me you loved me, I thought I misheard you because it was late and I didn't trust my hearing in the loud bar. And so later when we were laying in bed, I asked you, to clarify if that's what you had said. And you were like, yeah, and I was just struck by how confident you were, as if that was already understood. And it was. And in the last 5 years, we have weathered the storms you've referenced. And we've literally driven through blizzards. And now we're in this global pandemic. And no matter how strange and uncertain the world becomes, I just take comfort in we'll carry each other through to the other side. Marrying you is one of the biggest but also the simplest decisions I've ever made. You're empathetic, you're generous, you're funny, you're thoughtful, you're patient. Very, very patient. And you're honest and kind. And you're my home. I promise to love and trust you with my whole heart for my whole life. I promise to show up as your teammate, not only for life's big adventures, but also for those small moments when you request that we just sit quietly. And although we may not always have a map, I commit myself to the road ahead. I promise not only to grow old together, but to grow together. And most of all, I promise to keep on choosing you in this partnership every day, forever and always.
You beat me.
She's the winner.
Yeah.
Jane and Bryce will now exchange rings to symbolize their limitless commitment to each other. Hey, Calvin, can you bring me the rings? Oh, good job, buddy. Thank you so much.
Growling.
You can go sit back down now.
It's gotta go down.
You sit.
Boy.
Good boy.
Oh, man.
Did you get this one? Yes.
This is my ring.
Now, while these rings look shiny and new, they were created from imperfect, raw elements. They are an everyday reminder to love each part of each other, the beautiful and the flawed. Bryce, take Jane's ring and place it on her finger and repeat after me.
Ooh.
I give you this ring as a sign that I choose you.
I'll give you this ring as a sign that I choose you.
To be my partner until the end times.
To be my partner until the end times.
Wear it, think of me, and know that I love you.
Wear it, think of me, and know that I love you.
Jane, take Bryce's ring and place it on his finger and repeat after me. I give you this ring as a sign that I choose you.
I give you this ring as a sign that I choose you.
To be my partner until the end times.
To be my partner until the end times.
Wear it, think of me, and know that I love you.
Wear it, think of me, and know that I love you.
Jane and Bryce, Today we have witnessed your promises to share the rest of your lives together in marriage. There's no turning back now. So now, by the power vested in me by the state of Washington, it is my great joy to pronounce you husband and wife. Kiss!
That way, there you go.
Kissing one more time.
What are we doing?
Kiss it again.
Oh wow. I don't know if I can do that again. Left side, that was ad hoc.
You got it.
How, where are we going?
Oh, I gotta grab the mic. Do I pull it out? Oh, well, I just can use this, right? Okay. Well, woo. All right.
Address everybody.
We just want to address everybody who is tuning in from home, hopefully still with us, and just thank you so much for being here and bearing with us with the technical difficulties and just all of the difficulties. And we love you so much, and we can't wait to see you on Zoom in a little bit. So we're gonna close out here for now, but head to the website and go to the Zoom around 5:10 Pacific. That means 6:10 Mountain, 7:10 Central, 8:10 Eastern. Did I skip one?
Nope, that's all of them. That's all we have.
And if you're out of the country, you probably should go to bed. But all right, we love you. We'll see you soon.
We miss you guys.
We miss
Not
you.
you, but Deb. Let's go turn that thing off.
We'll go turn it off. Go this way?
Sure.
Yeah.
Here you go.